Hey, today we're going to talk about the top 3 neighborhoods in Norfolk, Virginia. Let's roll. Welcome back to the Living in Coastal Virginia channel. We do everything live, work, play, eat, good, bad, ugly here in the Hampton Roads, 757 Coastal Virginia, whatever you want to call it. That's what we do here. And just as a reminder, my name is Dan Inman. I am a local realtor here in the area. We help people just like you move into the area nice and smooth. We'd love to help you out. It's myself, my wife, and a small team that we have set up. The number should be down below or over my face, wherever Sean decides to put it today. And then if you'd love to see more content like this, you can subscribe to the channel and hit that little like button down there if you actually find this helpful today. What does top 3 mean? Hey, it's totally subjective. This is just my top 3. I say best. I just think these are some of the best offerings that Norfolk has to give to those who are looking for an awesome place to live. All right, number 1, today we're actually in East Beach. We just finished rolling up and doing some B-roll. But East Beach is a development that was done by a super famous architectural pair, both, I believe, university teachers at the University of Miami. It is a planned neighborhood, if you will. And this is gonna be everything from like Fifth Bay to East Beach. It's gonna have like a small beach town feel. Other than the traffic going up and down along Shore Drive, you literally are gonna feel like you're gonna need a beach buggy or a beach cruiser. East Beach, goodness gracious, is particularly been developed more recently. There's a ton of new construction also going over on Fifth Bay all the way to East Beach. So if you're looking for that beach lifestyle within maybe driving distance to the Naval Air Station Norfolk, or being able to hop on the highway really quickly. If you're a working professional that travels a whole lot, you're only like 10 minutes from the airport. You're only 20 minutes or so from downtown Norfolk. So again, if you're kind of that want the beach lifestyle but need a quick access to the airport or downtown, this place is awesome. As you can kind of see behind me, and you'll see in some of the B-roll shots, this area is known for its what's called live oak, and they're oak trees that kind of run and I was going to use the word squiggle squaggle. They branch out near the base, and I mean, it's like perfect for basically hammock weather. You know, draw up a hammock behind and, you know, fall asleep back here. It's fantastic. Outside of East Beach, over near 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Bay, there are some lower lying areas that may require flood insurance, so that's something you'll need to pay attention to. One of the things I love about this area is there's tons of green space. I'm here right now on a park bench in the middle. You can actually see you've got like houses on one side and then the middle space and houses on the other. It's designed specifically for that, for the whole neighborhood to be lots of green space, lots of places where you can work and play and, you know, let your kids run around, let the dogs run around, that type of thing. One of the things you're gonna get specifically in East Beach, but you also get over there on the Bay Streets, is this whole area was designed again by like an architectural pair. There is like real wood shutters on the homes. You have hardy plank, you know, wonderful brick architectural details, lots of metal roofs, cedar shakes, that type of thing. So if you're really you're concerned about getting a place that's just absolutely gorgeous, that puts a really high emphasis on architectural beauty, this neighborhood is fantastic. One of the other cool things I think that's at East Beach, and again over on the Bay Streets, is you're gonna have lots of what's called a carriage house, which you have, Sean will put this in the B-roll, you'll have like the house with like a little space where you can do outside grilling and that type of thing, and then they have the garage on the back side. It's totally separate, and above that is like an apartment building. A lot of the residents actually will rent out that for, you know, $800, $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 a month to offset some of the costs. A lot of the homes are actually pretty close together. It's designed specifically that way. There's more of the green space is shared than individualized, if that makes any sense. But that was kind of intentionally done. We come over here and park on these streets a lot of times for the summer to come over here to the beach. I absolutely love this little area over here on the bay. One of the things I think is kind of fun and unique to this area is you'll see, again, beach lifestyle. People will be going up and down in their golf carts from their houses to, you know, basically beach parking. You know, they're taking boogie boards and kayaks and all kind of the fun stuff, and they're taking out lunch for the day because they don't want to have to trek all the way back home for that. A couple other things to note that are nearby. You have the marinas right over here. So if you're into the boating lifestyle, you want to have a place that you can easily access your boat and not necessarily have to park it at your own dock, you can do that. We have Cova Brewing, which just popped up. We've done an interview with them. Maybe insert link to that here. Then we've also done Bold Mariner, which is just right down the street. You have Jesse's Taqueria, which is one of the best authentic Mexican restaurants in the area that's right down the street. A couple haircuts places. And like I said, there's a high degree of walkability here. And if you want that, again, that beach lifestyle, East Beach is definitely going to be your cup of tea. Neighborhood number 2 is going to be Largemouth Edgewater. This is going to be over next to Old Dominion University. One of the things that I love about that neighborhood is how close it is and central it is to everything. Literally a 10-15 minute drive to the Naval Air Station Norfolk, so you got lots of military officers. It's right next to ODU, so you have lots of professors that work and live in that neighborhood. Lots of kind of owners of blue-collar businesses and white-collar workers that are in there. You know, one of the guys that I met in there the other day was owner of an engineering firm. Super nice guy. Another one of the things I absolutely adore about Largemouth Edgewater is old architecture. You know, probably 60-70% of the homes that are for sale in that neighborhood at any one point in time are going to be built before 1940. So you have this old school, old world architecture that comes along with that. You know, these are older homes, right? So one of the downsides that you have here is you may have old home efficiency. I would say one of the most definite reasons that a lot of people seek after Largemouth Edgewater is the public school system there, especially for the elementary school, is fantastic. It's one of the most sought after elementary schools in Norfolk for sure. And so there's a lot of people that are looking for Largemouth Edgewater specifically for that school district. You know, one of the things you have to recognize with this neighborhood is that neighborhood was developed in the early 1900s, and so, you know, the streets are built for that. And so that, you know, a lot of times parking can kind of be a bear. They do have on some of the streets like the old granite style curbs, which is kind of cool. But a lot of people, if you're used to, you know, maybe new suburbia where you can easily park on either side of the street and still drive 2 cars down the center, that's just not going to happen in that neighborhood. Tons of old trees. You've got pines, but the most popular ones that are in there, or what the area is kind of known for, is crepe myrtles and magnolia trees. When they bloom, they're gorgeous. It's only for a short period of time. You just don't want to park underneath them because when that stuff gets on your car, it's like glue. It's a huge pain in the butt to wash that stuff off. The magnolia trees, when they bloom, smell amazing. These giant white blooms that are just gorgeous. They have these big, broad, dark leaves on the trees. Anyway, enough about the plants, right? And one of the things to pay attention to, just, I mean, if that old school architecture is something you really love, if you want a high degree of walkability, people are always out and about walking in that neighborhood. One of the downsides is because of all the old architecture, there aren't as many homes where they've gone through and like converted maybe a bedroom and turned something into a true master. One of the common complaints I have, or issues I hear from clients that buy in the neighborhood, is there's not a true master closet or a true master bath. I'm not saying that you can't find them in there. They're just less common. You have to remember these things were built in 1910, 20, and 30, so we tend to have a little bit more clothing than we used to. Largemouth Edgewater, well, there you go. We got that second word, Edgewater. There's a ton of waterfront property in that neighborhood. So again, if you are into that boating lifestyle, you want the ability to be able to go out and troll around on the pontoon boat or the center console or whatever it is that you end up getting for the day, that place is fantastic for that. Another potential maybe downside for that area is going to be flooding. Probably half of the neighborhood is an AE flood zone. So if you have a basement or if your house is really low, potentially you're going to need to get a flood policy. I have a basement. I have to have a flood policy. I think, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, I want to say $1,800 a year, something along those lines, right? But I really wanted to move into that neighborhood, and so and I loved my basement. I wasn't going to get rid of it. Some people will actually go in and fill in those basements. It costs a decent chunk of money, but if your flood policy can go from, say, $2,500 down to $500, well, it takes 5 years for you to break even, and every year after that, you're basically almost as an investment. Another benefit of Largemouth Edgewater, although Taste decided to move out because of COVID-19 out of the neighborhood, North Collie is just bustling. It's completely turning over. Elation Brewing Company has moved in there. Let's see here, there's another company, what's the name of it? Inman Home Services, right next to Elation Brewing. Another, I would say, potential downside of Largemouth Edgewater is the neighborhood's basically split in half from Hampton Boulevard. It's probably one of my least favorite streets in the area because it gets so busy. You have the Norfolk International Port or terminal there, which is one of the largest kind of shipping docks on the East Coast. So there's lots of semi-trucks that go up and down that street. Then you have all of the traffic from the Navy base that, to and from that comes along there. People that are going from downtown. It's just highly traveled, and so you can get a home on Hampton Boulevard, which will be $100,000 cheaper than the interior. But however, you're going to be dealing with that daily street noise, and if that's going to drive you nuts, you got to save the pennies and get into the interior of that neighborhood if you really want to experience it. Rolling on to number 3 is going to be Gent. Now, this includes Gent, West Gent, Gent Commons, Gent Square, all of those, but I'm just going to wrap it all up into one Gent. One of the reasons that you might want to look at this area is because you're a working professional, you want to be really close to downtown. There's tons of apartments and condos in the area, so if you just don't want to have lawn work or things to deal with there are plenty of condos and apartments that you can get into. One of the biggest things I would say about Gent is dogs. Everybody loves their dogs in Gent. They have like a dog park every other block. I don't think I've ever driven through that area and not seen somebody out there walking their dog. One of the other jokes I would say about maybe Gent is that there's a church like every other block. And that's kind of true. There are, Norfolk is extremely diverse, and you're going to find not just diverse people and culture, but also diversity in religions. Kind of like East Beach or East Ocean View is sort of like your miniature beach town. Gent is going to be your downtown feel. There's, again, back to the kind of the diversity thing. There's even diversity in architecture. There are 1.5 million plus estates in there. There are condo buildings, there are apartments, there are duplexes. It's a huge, huge variety of homes. Because it is a city, it's going to be very bikeable and walkable, which just means if you go out your door, whether you're walking or biking, you're going to be able to get to the grocery store, get your hair cut, go to Chipotle. Again, Chipotle, if you'd like to sponsor this video, please hit me up. I'm a white rice, black beans, double chicken, guacamole, sour cream, cheese, and extra fajitas. Most of your shopping is going to be along Collie and 21st Street. A huge, huge variety. And one of the things I absolutely adore about this area, very, very few chains. Nearly everything is independent. And there is an enormous amount of support for local small business in that particular area. We've done a ton of small business interviews. Maybe there's one here and maybe one here that you can check out. Unfortunately, those giveaways are no longer available, so you have to pay attention and hit that little subscribe button so you get notified when the next one comes out, because some of those giveaways are $200, $300, $400 each. So again, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on those. One of the other things Gent is known for is art. There's tons of art festivals that go on. You have, granted Harbor Fest is downtown, but the whole area is known to put on these little art venues and little festivals all throughout the little city there. A couple things, again, that we're close to here, EVMS and Centera Hospital. So there are a ton of doctors and nurses that live interspersed throughout that neighborhood. There are some people who have lived in Gent for decades and haven't moved. Another thing that's really close, Elizabeth River Trail. Again, that runs all the way from basically the stadium for the Tides, all the way through Chelsea and Gent, and all the way to Larchmont. It is a super popular trail in the area. There are people usually almost always on it because, hey, you gotta get out there and get your exercise on, right? I've mentioned this in my other video about kind of Norfolk in general. Parking, right? Again, it's an old city. These streets were made with old traffic and old kind of, I guess, driving architecture in mind. And so parking can be a pain in the butt. There are just not that many homes that have their own dedicated driveways. So finding parking can be a pain in the tuchus. You got parking meters that you have to deal with. Sometimes certain parts of the sides of the street are shut off because of street sweeping. So it's a reality of that area. Don't let that deter you from it, because I think Gent is amazing. I just would be remiss if we didn't mention Gent. I think it is a gorgeous, gorgeous area, highly walkable. People, love that area. Listings very rarely sit, even in a slow market, in that area. So I think you should definitely check it out. As a reminder, this is just my top, I think, of what the best of what Norfolk has to offer. There are tons of neighborhoods in Norfolk that we're probably gonna have to cover in other videos, but this is the best, in my opinion. Totally subjective, but you would be remiss if you didn't check these out. Reminder, I'm again a realtor here in the area. I and my wife run Inman Home Services by Creed Realty, and wife works for S&P Mortgage, which is Success Mortgage Partners, and we have a partnership to help make your transition nice and smooth. The information below, or again on my face, is the contact number for us directly. So we absolutely adore helping people make that transition smooth. Reach out to us, we'll respond. We have a great sense of humor, so if you tell us a joke, we're gonna laugh even if it's terrible. If you just wanna hit us up for going out for drinks, or just wanna know what the best place is to go out and get a burger, let us know, we'll tell you where it's at. So thanks for watching, checking out the Living Coastal Virginia channel. Hit that like button if you loved it, and subscribe. Don't leave me hanging. Come on, man, don't hurt me. Do it for me.